Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyadadeshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are saying 5 gems of Gita. Now question is, why only 5? There should be many more, right? Gita, how many verses Gita have? 700. So there should be minimum at least 700 gems, because each and every verse of Bhagavad Gita is like a gem. And not only just it should be limited to 700, but it should be many more. But we are just handpicking some of them. It is not like these are the only things that we can get from Bhagavad Gita, but we'll keep discussing. So we thought of just discussing some important items from Bhagavad Gita. In the past also, we have discussed many of the verses, important verses. Of course, every verse of Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita and all other scriptures, they're full of all this kind of valuable gems in terms of the wisdom. But who get the gems? Not everybody. Right? When you go to the ocean, so generally at the bottom you find a lot of valuable jewels in the ocean, but not everybody can get that. Right? Many people go, they take dip, they swim on the shore. Those people cannot get the gems. To get the gem, though it is there available, but you have to spend some time in the water, and also not only to spend time in the water on the shore, but you should learn that how to dive deep in the water. If you don't dive deep, you can go on the shore, take a swim, have a good, enjoyable, whatever experience, pleasure, then come back. Say, oh, it was very nice, very nice. But what you carry from there, that depends on how deep you dive into the water. So through this Gita Life classes, what we are trying to do, initially we started on the shore, something giving some overview on some chapters and all that. Now gradually we're trying to go a little deep down, and that is what we are trying to do through these sessions. So I'll go a little. So it may not be a very casual session, but maybe we have to study a little more deeply. That is what we'll do. So as already discussed in the past, put everyone on mute. We know that how, just to reiterate this understanding, that how the entire Bhagavad Gita, which contains 18 chapters, can be divided into 3 different sections, right? First 6, last 6, and middle 6. So first 6 chapters, they talk about the Karma Yoga. The entire section is Karma Yoga. Last 6 chapters, they talk about the Jnana Yoga. And the middle 6, the most important, they talk about what? Bhakti Yoga, right? And that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So it is like a sandwich. On top you have the bread loaf, and then at the bottom also you have. But what really makes that sandwich delicious, tasty, or people relish is stuffing inside. So that stuffing is in the middle, which is the middle 6 chapter, starting from 7 to 12. They're all, and we can of course derive a lot of gems from anywhere, but we'll go in the middle to get the gems of the gems, right? So Bhakti Yoga, 7 to 12, the chapters, will pick some important verses starting from the 7th chapter and try to understand that what are those gems that we are trying to get that. So today I picked this verse, and it will explain that today's topic will be, can we know Krishna completely? So this is a question, and at the end of the session we'll see. We'll get some clarity whether we can know Krishna or we cannot. So that will be what our discussion, and then we'll be discussing this verse. It's one of the very important verse from Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, text number 2. So please repeat after me, and then we'll get into the discussion. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah yajgyatva neha bhunyonyas yajgyatva neha bhuyonyas ज्ञातव्यम अवशिष्यते ज्ञानं देहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यस् ज्ञातव्यम अवशिष्यते. We'll chant one more last time. ज्ञानं देहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यस् ज्ञातव्यम अवशिष्यते. So this is the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So the Prabhupada's very unique contribution had been to the world is that he translated this wisdom, which was originally found in Sanskrit, but he has given to the world in a language which the entire world understands today, which is in English. And beautifully, Prabhupada has given word-to-word meaning, like for each and every word, he has given in Sanskrit and then English meaning and then translation and then beautiful purports. That also will read, because you may read the translation, but still it may not make sense sometimes, some of the verses. Then you need a little more explanation, which we find in purports. So I'll read this. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Now there's a various aspect to this words. If you see the Sanskrit wording, it says Jnanam and Vijnanam. Jnanam says Hamsa Vijnanam. So one is Gyan and one is Vigyan. We'll understand that what is Gyan, what is Vigyan. And then another important thing about this verse is, says, this being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is such that if somebody knows this knowledge, somebody understands this knowledge, then there's nothing shall remain to be known. Okay, let us just quickly read a small purport also, and then we'll get into discussion. Prabhupada explains, complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession, directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.3 says, Yasmin yu bhagavate vigyatam sarvam idam vigyatam bhavati. Okay, so that is a small purport. So this particular verse, Krishna is starting from this chapter, the section called the Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is all about the essence of the Bhagavad Gita and how Krishna is beginning. Just prior to this verse, Krishna says, Maya Sakt Manabhartha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. Krishna is saying, if you want to practice bhakti, first step is this. Mai Asakt Manapartha. O Parth, O Arjun, Asakt Manapartha. Your mind should be attached to me. Yogam Yunjan Mad Ashraya. Yogam Yunjan means you should be engaged in my service. Mad Ashraya, you should take shelter of me. Tat Shrunu. And when you hear all those things and when you start practicing, that is the beginning of bhakti. Attach the mind to Krishna. And through this entire section, starting from 7 to 12, Krishna will reveal that how we can really develop that attachment to get attached to Krishna. Right? Our mind should get attached to Krishna. So now coming back to this particular verse today. So let us understand about what is this Gyan and Vigyan, and gradually, step by step, we'll just break the entire words and then go step by step. So it's saying Gyanam Teham Sa Vigyanam. So what is this Gyan? What is knowledge? Gyan means we say knowledge. First of all, we need to understand what is considered as knowledge. The whole world is talking about knowledge. There's a different branches of knowledge. We go to universities, what knowledge you want to gain, what you want to get educated about. That is knowledge. When you go to the work, what knowledge you have, based on that you will do some work. But now interestingly, our scriptures tells and they guides us that all this what we refer to as knowledge is not knowledge. Shastra gives use the different word for that. They use the word called shilp. Shilp means it is an art. Art means somebody is an engineer. Skills, we can say, right? So you have learned some coding, something. Somebody knows the accounting, somebody knows the medicines, something like that. These are all skills. That is not considered as knowledge in the first place, right? So first we need to understand what is not knowledge. Then we'll understand what is knowledge, right? So this is not knowledge, but we refer to the knowledge in this world. What is knowledge? Krishna explains in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 8 to 12. Krishna says the 20 items of knowledge. Those 4 verses says amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa shantirarjavam acharya upasanam chaiva. So like that he mentioned 20 items. What is considered as the real knowledge? Says amanitvam. Amanitvam means that being humble. That is knowledge. How you can be humble? There might be a lot of challenges. Still, you can be grounded. That needs knowledge, and that is considered as knowledge. Adambitvam. Damba means pride. How you can be free from the pride? Because naturally, there is a tendency in a common man, when they achieve something, this natural tendencies, they feel proud about that. Oh, I did that. That is actually ignorance. Yes, they have done something, that credit goes to them. But then Bhagavad Gita guides us, when we achieve something in our life, we are not the sole doer. You are just one of the doer. In 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about 3 doers. So one is we. And we always end up considering that I am the only doer. And what Krishna says, Karta Ahamiti Manyate, Ahankar Bimudatma. One who is too ahankar, ahankar means too much of ego, false ego. Then that person is considered as Bimudatma, foolish, who thinks that I am Karta. Karta Aham iti Manyate. Right. So when we don't understand this knowledge, then we fall to act like an ignorant person. So, amanitvam, adambitvam. Adambitvam means free from the pride. You may achieve a lot of things in this world, but then you should know it's not only you alone or your endeavor alone. There's a lot of other factors are also working. And Krishna guides us. What are those factors? Mental nature and the super soul. The 3 doers. In the 18 chapters, Krishna talks about 5 factors of action. Whenever you do any action, there's constantly 5 factors are working on that. So your endeavor, your hard work is just one factor. There are 4 more. We don't know. Then again, you will be considered as an ignorant person. So most of the people don't know because this education is not there. This Gyan is not there. So Krishna is telling what is Gyan. Gyan is not that I did this, I achieved this because I know this. That is not Gyan. Gyan is something else. Okay. So Krishna is talking about this Gyanam. And in this 20 items of knowledge, the one of the most important item that Krishna highlights is knowing, having the knowledge that you are not the body, you are the soul. That is where the beginning of knowledge begins. That you are not this body, you are the soul. That is the fundamental, that is the foundation of all the knowledge. Because if you are situated in that concept, then your whole perception changes. If you are situated in a different concept that I am the body, then whole life goes around the body. How do I look? What people think about me? How do I dress myself? My hairstyle, my clothing, whole life goes into that. And then there's nothing wrong in that. You can look good, you can dress well, you can earn money. There's nothing wrong. But in the course of doing and pursuing all of that, if you miss out the main purpose of human form of life, it's a big loss. then we remain like an ignorant person. And there was a purpose of this human form of life, but you did not get educated. So that is Gyan. So this is about Gyanam. And then what is Vigyan? Now, Gyanam is, just to give you the example to understand this, you read a book on how to swim, or you watch some video how to swim, and you feel very excited, very confident. Oh, I understood everything, all the tricks. He says, okay, go like this in the water and flat and throw hands, legs. You think like, you may feel like you know the swimming. That is Gyan. But when you really jump into the water, then you realize that you are drowning down. You have not learned anything. That needs Vigyan. Vigyan means realized knowledge. So one is theoretical knowledge, which we probably read in the books, and we attend the discourses like this. They say, oh yeah, yeah, very nice. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Understood. But that Gyan becomes Vigyan when only you start to live your life as per that Gyan. Start living that. So how many times we might have heard, any Gita course you go, you will hear that first thing. And we are not the body, we are the soul. But are we really acting on the platform that I'm not the body, I'm the soul? Right. As soon as something happens, you forget all that. So this Gyan is not turning into Vigyan. Now there is a process. How to transform this Gyan into Vigyan. This theoretical knowledge should become into deeper realized knowledge. So it's not like that, oh, let me hear more attentively, which is important, but there is a process to transform this knowledge from this to this. Right. So that is Vigyan. So this Gyan and Vigyan, it can be explained in so many ways. One thing like theoretical knowledge versus the realized knowledge. And also Prabhupada in this particular purport, Prabhupada is using the word phenomenal knowledge and noumenal. If you might have paid the attention during we are reading the translation. So Prabhupada says phenomenal and noumenal. What it means? Phenomena means like you see a lot of phenomena in this world, right? So phenomena means that this is Gyan, what appears to our eyes or to our senses. That is phenomena. But the reality might be completely different. The simple example is, to me, you appear like a body. That is how I perceive through my senses with my intelligence. It's a male, female, American, Indian, something like that. But the reality is something different. We are not the body. So that is Vigyan, that is noumenal knowledge, which is beyond our perception. You cannot perceive with your senses. Like, for example, when Newton was sitting under a tree, an apple fall, we know all the story, right? So an ordinary person would have just, taken the apple and eat and say, very nice. Not everybody can think that. But Newton was little extraordinary. He started thinking, what is that made this apple fall? It is not visible. Gravity is not something gross matter which you see, oh, because of this, right? So noumenal means something which is beyond our sense perception. There's so many things are working in this world. So many laws are working in the nature. Soul itself is beyond the sense perception. So this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is noumenal. Phenomenal means some phenomena you see in this material world. So Prabhupada translated this Gyan and Vigyan as phenomenal and noumenal. Now there's another Acharya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the Guru Parampara. He also explains this Gyan and Vigyan little differently. He says Gyan means understanding the greatness of Krishna. Krishna is great, right? What is Vigyan then? He explains Vigyan means knowing the sweetness of Krishna. It's not only just Krishna is great, that you will understand by reading, but also when you go a little deep down, then you understand Krishna is very sweet also, though he's great, but at the same time, parallel, is very sweet Lord, right? So that is Jnanam and Vijnanam. So Jnanam is like Krishna's, understanding Krishna's energies. Energies means when we read the 7th chapter now on from here, after this, Krishna will start explaining about his different energies. This is what are the different energies. There's some inferior energies, there's superior energies. Starting from 7.4, Krishna says, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu, Kam Mano Buddhi Revcha, this earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are all my Bhinna Prakriti Rashtada. They're all 8 elements. This material world is made out of all those things. So like Krishna started to explain the energies. This, and Krishna said, these are my apara prakriti, apara energy, like inferior energies. And then Krishna talks about the superior energy. Apart from this energy, aparayamitastu prakriti viddhimaya. There is another para prakriti, means superior energy. Jiva bhuta mahabahu, the living entity, the soul is my energy, and that is my superior energy. So by reading all of that, you understand, oh, a lot of energy, whole world is made out of Krishna's energy, living entity, the soul, Atma, so many of us, we are all Krishna's energy. Krishna is so great. That is about Krishna's greatness. This is Gyan. Where is the Vigyan? Okay, we understand Krishna is great, but then Krishna also explains about the Vigyan also, and that we have to go a little deep down and take out. It is not on the shore, on the surface. You have to go deep. In Bhagavad Gita, actually, Krishna explains a little bit as he goes further down. So we are talking about the middle section of Bhagavad Gita. Now, in this middle section, the middle of middle, 7 to 12, what is the middle of that? The 9th chapter. Right. So 9th chapter is entitled as the most confidential knowledge. Now, why it is most confidential knowledge? We have to understand that. Because Krishna is revealing something, some secrets there, and a little bit about his sweetness, which is not known to everyone. It is just like, you might hear about some great person, this person is very powerful, very rich, and very famous, and all of that. And you get the sense of that person, oh, he's really a powerful, great man. But if you really want to understand, truly you want to understand that person, then you have to have that personal audience of the person. Like you go spend some time, talk to him, you eat with him, you spend some few days, then you understand that, oh, he's not just some powerful man, but he's a very sweet person, very nice, very loving, very caring, and like that. So Krishna is talking about his energies. I am great. This whole material world come from me and all of them. That is greatness. But then sweetness also in between he put a little bit. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses, right? So if you go exactly the middle of 700 verses, what will be the verse number? Right? 350. In text number 350, I know that most of the people will not be able to answer this. Which is the verse number 350 in Bhagavad Gita? 350 and 351. It needs little calculation. It will not be handy. So this is verse number 9.13 and 14, 9.13 and 9.14, which is the exactly middle of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Right, and what Krishna explains there, beautiful verse. Krishna says, Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashritaha bhajanti ananya mancho. So Krishna is saying that my devotees, is addressing them as Mahatmanastu mam partha. O Parth, my devotees, devim prakriti mashrita. They are taken the shelter of my Devi prakriti. Basically saying that my devotees always remains under my shelter. And what they do? Bhajanti ananya manaso. They always remembers me, they always worship me, chant my name. Ananya. Ananya means constantly, always, without any other consideration. Always, they always remember me. And then Krishna explains what are the some of the characteristics of those great devotees, Mahatmas. Says, Satatam kirtayanto mam, yatantasya dradavada, namasyantasya mamityam, yukta nitya upasate. Says, my devotees, what they are doing? Satatam kirtayanto mam. They're constantly kirtayanto mam. They're chanting my name. They're constantly remembering me. Yatantasya dradavrataha. And they are working hard for my sake. So this is what is most confidential knowledge, that how a devotee should be. Devotee is not about just, I go to temple, I put some kanti mala, I put some tilak, which is great, which helps you to develop, evoke your devotion. But Krishna is explaining, a devotee means he should be completely at my shelter. There should not be any other hope, any other shelter. No, it is not easy. And that is what exactly Krishna will demand at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Almost when he's closing his dialogue, he will say, Sarva dharman paritajya mamekam sharanam. Surrender unto me. And here he is explaining the devotees are under my shelter and they're always remembering, chanting my holy name. And they're devim prakriti mashrita, they are under my shelter. So this is not about just greatness, but devotees are taking the shelter of Krishna not because Krishna is great, but because they love Krishna. That is where this loving relation is coming. Why they are always chanting? Because Krishna is powerful man, he's forcing them. If you don't chant his name, then he might do something to us. Not like that. Bhajanti Ananya Manaso, that Ananya Manaso comes only when there is a very intimate relationship between the devotee and the Lord. So that is what is revealing there, right? So this is considered, that is explained as the Vigyan. So Gyan is knowing the greatness of the Lord. Vigyan means knowing the sweetness of the Lord. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, had the two aspects, greatness and the sweetness, right? And that is what is also another meaning of Jnanam and Vijnanam. Now, another thing that this verse is explaining, Krishna says, after knowing this knowledge, phenomenal and noumenal, is nothing further shall remain to be known. Means this Bhagavad Gita is such a knowledge, if you know this knowledge, then there's nothing remains to be known. It means if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you need this knowledge, then you should know everything. You should know even Krishna also. Everything means including Krishna. That is what Krishna is saying. Nothing remains to be known. So by reading Bhagavad Gita, can we claim that we know Krishna now? Somebody can claim probably. Can somebody know Krishna? And that is what is our today's discussion, right? So let us understand that what it means when Krishna is saying that, In fact, it's very interesting to know, and we need to understand it very carefully. That is how Bhagavad Gita should be read. Krishna is saying, you know this knowledge, you know everything. Now, in the 10th chapter, which is entitled as the opulence of the Lord. So Arjuna got excited. He says, my dear Lord, please tell me about your opulences. So in the 17th verse or 18th verse, in the 10th chapter, Krishna says, my opulences are unlimited. Nobody can describe them. Nobody means Krishna is saying, in fact, I myself cannot describe. But since you are asking, I'll tell you the prominent ones. And he used the word pradhanyataha, means those who are pradhan. Pradhan means the prominent ones, I'll tell you. Otherwise, it is impossible for anyone to describe my opulences. It means Krishna's opulences are unlimited. Nobody can know Krishna. But here Krishna is saying, if you know this knowledge, you know everything. Means you know everything means you know Krishna. But in the next chapter, Krishna is saying, nobody can explain about me. How do we understand? How we reconcile all of those things? It's very confusing, right? It might be confusing, but it is not confusing actually. Now, when we talk about knowing everything, what it refers to knowing everything? First of all, actually there is a description comes in the scriptures that how Krishna in the form of, Mahavishnu is lying on the ocean, causal ocean, Karan Sagar. And we know that how in the Vishnu form, Krishna is lying on that bed of Anantashesh, right? He has like innumerable boots. And this Anantashesh, being a great devotee of the Lord, is constantly, that description comes that Anantashesh has been constantly glorifying the Lord, describing the glories of the Lord, Supreme Lord, since time immemorial. But he is not coming to an end. It's not enough. There are thousands of boots. Since time immemorial, he is trying to glorify Krishna's, opulences, Krishna's glories. It is not coming to an end. So Krishna's glories are unlimited. Now, knowing everything about Krishna, not possible. And we are talking about the Anantashesh. What is our position? Right? When Krishna himself find, sometimes very difficult to, like Krishna sometimes wonders. There's a description like when Krishna goes and look at his beauty, and Krishna get attracted by his own beauty. Says, oh, it's so beautiful. And the moment he tried to, grasp that beauty, he become more beautiful. So that is the nature of the Lord. Constantly everything keep increasing. His knowledge, his beauty, his opulences, strength, everything is constantly ever expanding. That is the nature. Just opposite to the nature of this world. Everything has the diminishing returns. Not strength in your youth, we are very strong, beautiful, good looking. Gradually with the age, everything diminishes. Right? Krishna is other way around, keep increasing. So Krishna's glories also, Krishna find it difficult to understand his own glories. Right? So the point is, what we are trying to understand then when this verse is saying that you know everything. What is that everything? So that we need to understand very carefully. Let us come to that point. In fact, in the 10th chapter, Krishna will explain. He says, Na me vidu surgana. that even the great demigods, they cannot understand me. Krishna declaring, forget about people like us, ordinary people. Says all these great demigods, Indra, Chandra, including Brahmaji. And we know that how this Brahma Vimohan Leela happened, right? Some of us might be already having this idea that how Brahmaji was one time confused that who is this boy in Vrindavan and who is enchanting everyone. So he thought, let me test. He missed, he could not understand that he is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So he came, and when Krishna was in the forest and with the cowherd boys and calves and the cows, so Brahmaji came and he stole first the calves and the cows. And then Krishna was wondering that where my cows and calves are lost. Krishna goes to search them, and then Brahmaji comes from the back and he steals his pants also. He thought, okay, let me check now who is this boy, if he is the Supreme Lord or something. And Krishna also thought, okay, let me, play with him. So Krishna is also wondering, cluelessly, that, oh, where is my cows? Where are my cows? Where are my friends? And like that. So sometime then Brahmaji was thinking he is not God. And then what Krishna did, we all know the story that how Krishna expanded himself into that many cows and the calves and the friends, exactly the same behavior, the nature and everything. And they're just nicely roaming in the Vrindavan. This Brahmaji was wondering, they stole all of them. How come they are all here? So Brahmaji, he thought I am a mystic. I can do all these tricks. But what he missed is Krishna is Yogeshwara. Brahmaji is a small mystic, and Krishna is the big mystic, unlimited mystic. So when a small mystic try to trick the bigger mystic, it's a big mistake that Brahmaji did, right? And then soon he realized, and we know that how Brahmaji came to the senses. So that is what Krishna says. Even the demigods like Brahmaji, they're not able to understand me. Nobody can understand me. So then what we are trying to understand here is, okay, let us understand now this. Like, say a honeybee goes to the flower, and the flower have many details. Start from like count how many petals in a flower, color, patterns, design, symmetry, so many things can be there. What is that? What is the honeybee is really looking for? Those details. What honeybee is looking for? Honey. Because that is the essence of the flower. So similarly, when we read the scriptures, when we talk about all of that, instead of getting into the detail, which is also sometimes, we can find out, but details are unlimited. You'll be lost into the details. So instead of too much carrying, getting carried away by the details, we should focus on this. What is the honey? What is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita or entire, practices of any spiritual practice? Because what happens many times, people just get so lost into the details and they miss out the essence. So what Krishna is referring here in this verse is that when nothing shall remain to be known means you understand the principles, tattva. Details might be unlimited, but you understand the essential principle just by reading this knowledge. And that is the guarantee. Now, what are these essential principles? Tattva, we'll talk about that. So, actually, one time Prabhupada was, talking to some of his disciples, and then Prabhupada was explaining some of those things. And Prabhupada said, oh, no, it is not possible to understand Krishna. Similar thing. And then one of the disciples was very curious. He said, Prabhupada, if it is not possible to understand Krishna completely, then why you are writing all these books? So much voluminous work that Prabhupada has done. Says you already knows that it is not possible to understand Krishna. Why you are writing the books? Prabhupada gives a wonderful reply. Prabhupada says, and I'm writing all those books so that you understand that you cannot understand. Otherwise, you might think that, oh, I can understand. But after reading all those descriptions about Krishna, Gita, Bhagavatam, you come to the senses, oh, this is unlimited. I cannot understand. So Prabhupada says, I'm writing that so that you understand that you cannot understand. Does it mean that we should not understand? We should definitely try to understand. But also, parallelly, we should try to understand one more thing is that every individual have their own abilities and capacities. It's like a different words they're trying to fly. So some small sparrow can fly to some height, and maybe some eagle can go little higher, some vulture can go even higher, much higher. So like that, we are all different. We have our own wings. How much you can fly, how much you can grasp. So don't worry about that. Whatever your capacity is there, that much you grasp. But most importantly, we should try to grasp the essence, the principles. What are those principles? We'll come to that point now. So basically, our Upanishads actually explains. And also another point that I should add here is our scriptures are like, who can really grasp, first of all, what is the qualification? They're like, all of us, we know this particular incarnation of the Lord, Mohini Murti. Right, Lord came in the Mohini avatar. It was very attractive, very fascinating. And we know that how that there is a pot of nectar, and this Mohini, very, it tricked the demons and distributed the entire nectar to all the demigods. And the demons were bereft. So our scriptures are like that. They're like the Mohini Murti. Who will get the nectar? Only those who are qualified, those who are demigods. So this nectar is meant only for devotees. Many people they challenge, where is Krishna? Can you show me God? And all of those. For those people, this knowledge is, they might think superficially touch, but they will not grasp this knowledge. Like somebody was challenging in assembly like this. Says if there is a God, then God should come in front of me, then only I'll believe in God. No. So the speaker answers that God is not that cheap. Just to prove his existence, he should come in front of you. Whether you believe his existence or not, still continue to remain in your heart as Paramatma. Still is constantly, guiding your each and every wandering in your life, whether you know it or not. So many people can challenge. So there is a certain qualification is needed, and that qualification Krishna already spoke. That Krishna in the 4th chapter also he was saying, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahashyam hi etad uttamam. This rahash, this confidential knowledge is only meant for bhakta or sakha. Arjuna, you are my devotee and you are my sakha. So this knowledge I am revealing to you. So there is a qualification. Now, what is that? Trying to understand, and by knowing which nothing shall remain for that to be known. So now we'll go a little next level. So there is Upanishad talks about 3 items. Now we are coming to what are those principles, essential principles, which if you not understand, then you understand everything. So there are 3 things. And it is called, the Acharya says, Jeev, Jagat, and Jagdish. Means the consciousness, living entity, Jeev, Jagat, the material nature, and the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord, Jagdish. So Krishna is saying, when he's saying that after knowing this, nothing shall remain to be known, means you know these 3 things. That we are the Jiva. Jiva means we are not this body. We are the soul. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So means everything about soul you understand. You say, no, I am the soul, but from where the soul came? What are the features of the soul? What the soul is supposed to do? Everything you know about the soul. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivaamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That all of us, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So we are the soul and then material nature. Right. So Krishna explains about this Prakriti nature. Say this is my energy, this is my inferior energy. Maya Dakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This Prakriti is working under my supervision. So it's a nature, nature, nature. People talk about the nature, right? But what they miss out is nature is like people call the mother nature. Even not only in the Vedic tradition, even in the modern philosophers also call the nature as mother nature. But what they miss out is they understand that nature is like a mother and we are like the kids, but they are ignorantly miss out the father. Somebody was challenging Prabhupada one time, saying that, Swamiji, can you prove logically there is God? So Prabhupada told him that first of all, you don't even understand what is logic. Now this person who was thinking himself very intelligent, he was taken aback. Like, how you can say like that, I don't know the logic. Say, no, I'm telling that you don't understand what is the logic. Say, no, but you give me some logic first to explain that God exists. So Prabhupada gave very, very simple yet very profound logic. Prabhupada says, what do you call the nature? This person says, yeah, mother nature. And then if mother nature is the mother, and then we are the child of this mother nature, who is the father? Where is the father? Very simple, but very profound answer. Say, if you talk about the mother and the child, you should talk about father also. Where is the father? Who is the father? So that person didn't have any clue. So that simple logic explains that Father is the Supreme Lord, and that is what Krishna is saying. Right? Pita ham asya jagata mata data pita maha. Krishna is saying that I am the Father. Krishna is saying that and the seed giving father in the 14th chapter. So like that we understand. So now coming back to our point, what is that we, by understanding nothing shall remain further to be known? It's three items: Jeev, Jagat and Jagdish, living entities, material nature, and the absolute truth. These are the principles, and then details are unlimited. So one should not get lost into the detail like a honeybee. When you go to the flower, should only look for the honey. Don't get carried away by the details. How much ever you can grasp that much, but don't get lost into the details. So that is what it is. So now, when we talk about that, if Krishna is saying that after knowing this, nothing shall remain further to be known. Now, question is, if we read Bhagavad Gita, we understand everything. Then what is the need of reading Bhagavatam? We generally say that Bhagavad Gita is like a graduate study, and then Bhagavatam is postgraduate, next level, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is that? That is like the PhD. So you say, if you know everything by reading Bhagavad Gita, then what is the need to go to the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita? Should end here only. And why Prabhupada has written all this Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so much work. Would have given this, and he might have already read this verse for knowing this knowledge. How do we reconcile this? Right. So we should understand three things importantly. That Bhagavad Gita talks about Krishna's identity, Krishna's personality. Like, who is Krishna? Who is God? To establish those principles, there's some God. Who is that God? Is that God is a person, or is some light, or some energy, or what it is? So the complete identity of God has been explained in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita talks about the identity of God, and then Bhagavatam talks about activity of the God. So it's not enough just this person, but what that person does, activity of God. So you will see the Bhagavatam when you will read the wonderful pastimes of the Lord, right? Different reciprocation with different devotees. So it talks about the activity of the God. Then what is Chaitanya Charitamrita? Next level. That talks about the mentality of God. Means how God thinks, what are his emotions. So those details has been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very intimate relations and reciprocation with his devotees, how he thinks. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains. So when we talk about that, just by reading Bhagavad Gita, do we really need to read furthermore? Yes, we can read furthermore, but ultimately the essence is that Jeev, we are in this material world, stuck here, and we have to come out from this material nature. The only way is if we can catch hold of the Jagdish, the Supreme Lord. That is the way out. So now, Krishna was saying the 7.1, Maya asakta manabharta. Your mind should be attached to me. So how to attach the mind? So all this Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita and the like Bhagavatam and CC, it basically facilitate to develop that attachment, to get attached to the Supreme Lord. Now we are attached to so many things in this world. So basically, yes, about the personality from Bhagavad Gita, but then you also understand that I had to get attached to that Supreme Lord. I had to surrender to that Supreme Lord. Now, how to develop that surrenderance? So it will be facilitated by reading Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is why it is needed. Otherwise, in Tattva, you understand everything. That I am the soul, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, we are part and parcel, and our constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord. If you understand this, you understood everything. Nothing shall remain further to be known. And of course, around this, there's a lot of details. When you talk about the God, then you also understand that who is this God. Many people have the many conceptions. Some people say God is a person. Some people say no, God is not a person. God is some light, some energy. So all those kind of discussion is already there in the Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna asked in the 12th chapter, that what is your opinion, Krishna? And Krishna clearly said that those who worship me as a person, they are actually rightly situated. So God is a person. What kind of a person? He's a very loving person. He reciprocates. Though he's very powerful, he's very great, but he is also very sweet. So this is how we understand, and that is what Krishna is explaining, that after knowing all this, further nothing shall remain to be known. So it's not about the details. we should go to the essence. One time when Prabhupada was explaining this verse, somebody again challenged Prabhupada. It was in, I think it was in New York or somewhere. This building, the Empire State Building, which was the tallest building in those days. Now there are many more, taller building. So this person challenged that Swamiji, you are saying that after knowing this knowledge, after knowing about Krishna, you know everything. So you are a great devotee of Krishna. You know about Krishna. Prabhupada says, yes, I know about Krishna. Then you should know everything. He says, yes, I know everything. Then he challenged that, okay, tell me how many windows are there in this building. Like, people can challenge you in any way, right? So they are standing in front of this Empire State Building, which is like a very tall building. And the design is like there's a lot of windows like that. So he asked them, tell me if you know everything, then how many windows? Prabhupada was very expert in dealing with all these kind of challenges. He left people like clueless. So Prabhupada says, there's no point of talking about how many drops are there in the desert. Now this person has to scratch his head to understand what he said. And many of us also might scratch our head. What is his answer? It is a very profound answer. Prabhupada is saying, basically, talk about the essence. Right? What is the point that you talk and inquire, spend time? How many drops are there in the desert? Does it help in any way? If a few drops are there in the desert, does it help in any way? It doesn't help. Why to waste time? So how many windows are there? How does it make difference in your life? What is the point of talking all those things? Right? Talk about the real essential things in life. What is this life is all about? What is the goal of this human form of life? That is what those kind of questions can be answered through this knowledge. And that is what Krishna is saying here, that after knowing this knowledge, then nothing shall remain further to be known. So this is what is the tattva, the principles. Principle is we understand that absolute truth is a person. Means God is a person. And what kind of person? Is a very loving person. How you can attain that person? By devotional service, by bhakti. That person can be attained, right? And that person is very, very bhakta vassal. Bhakta vassal means he loves his devotees. He is ready to sacrifice his own life and his own reputation for the sake of devotee. And that is what is the tattva. And if we understand this and we start leading our life based on these principles, these concepts, then there's nothing much is needed. You will figure out how to live in this world, just make some money, because all those things are needed. You have to get a job and just make money. But then you don't say that this is the goal of my life. That is not the goal of your life. You should understand what is the goal. Goal is how to establish our lost relationship with that Supreme Lord. Who that Supreme Lord? Krishna, who is a very loving, reciprocal person. And the process to connect with him is devotional service, bhakti. And how the bhakti can be practiced, we already discussed in the Nabda Bhakti in detail. So easiest process which has been recommended to connect with the Supreme Lord in this modern age is chanting his holy name, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is what is the Tattva Gyan. And that is why scripture says, somebody chants this knowledge, Vedeshu Yaggeshu Tapesu Chayeva. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that if you know this knowledge and if you know the essence of this knowledge, which is chanting, then it is understood that you already studied all the Vedas. If you know this, if you understand this, that essence is chanting the holy name of the Lord, and you start to practice that. It means you already surpassed all the studies of the Vedas. So that is what is this knowledge is. So this is called Tattvatraya, Jiva, Jagat, and Jagdish. And if we know this, and just to remember this, Jiva means basically Prabhupada actually in one place in the purport also Prabhupada explains that there is a matter, there is a spirit, and there is a controller. Matter means this material nature, spirit means the soul, and then there is a supreme controller. So matter, spirit, and controller, MSC. So you can remember this. So if you are done with MSC, and then nothing else further remain to be known. Okay, so let me just pause here and see if I think it is becoming too technical for some people. Might be, I'm not sure. So let me see a pause here and see if anybody has any quick question or any comment. Those who are joining online, and a lot of people online, and anyone here in person. Okay, so after knowing this, nothing shall further remain.
Sanatana Prabhu, I have question.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how to develop that kind of faith or taste in the holy name? Even we know, we hear so many times, but
Okay.
still we don't.
Yeah. Thank you for asking this question. Very profound question, that how to develop the taste and faith in the holy name. How to develop the taste? Very simple. How to develop the taste is, I'll give you one crude example. May not be very great example, but it will make the point very clear. Like when people in the beginning, they go for drinking alcohol and they say, oh, this is very bitter. Like it is not something tasty, very sweet or something. That is what the people say. So, but still in that association, when they go, they get a push. Though it is bitter, but that association helps in the due course to develop some craving for that. Right. So the short answer is association. How to develop the attraction and the taste for the holy name. And one should chant in the association of the devotees. That adds the flavor, that adds the hit, and that adds the taste. So please come to the temple whenever possible. Come to this kind of programs. A lot of online sessions are also there. So take the opportunity of all this modern technology and develop your taste. Okay. Hope that
Thank
answers.
you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very nice.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Mohit, you have the question. I'll come back. We don't say anything. We just listen what God says. So Krishna says that I am the person. What do you mean? What is a person? Yeah, God is person like us. Like us in the sense, is not exactly like us. Like we are all limited beings. But Krishna is the Purusha, but he is called as Param Purusha. Personality means he has everything. He has feelings, emotions, reciprocations, everything. He is not some vague concept like something. Otherwise, what is the point of offering your prayers? Where you're offering your prayers in the air, offering prayers, and then you get some reciprocation. Then it should be some person who has some feeling, who has some heart to accept and then reciprocate. So that is what is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. That is not our understanding. So you can read the 12th chapter. It's a very small chapter, but that exactly that is what is discussed in the chapter. So Arjuna asked the question that which is better, because another conception is God is impersonal, Nirakar, right? It's a very prominent concept, but this is not authorized by Bhagavad Gita. There is understanding of Nirakar also, but that is not the highest understanding. Highest understanding is Krishna is the Supreme Lord as a person. So we have discussed in the past, we'll be keep discussing all those concepts more. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you were saying something. Okay, so how do we really get the essence of the scripture? One thing is, you can read yourself, but as I said, we may get or we may not get. So that is why, again, answer is the same. Taking the shelter of a bona fide teacher, and in their association, we try to learn. Then what happens is, see, when we go to the association, we don't go to the association to really, figure out how to dive deep. No, we don't do that actually. What we do is, there are already people, they are already very deep, and they have a lot of gems. They're throwing, distributing. So we go to the association, like they throw something, you catch. And that is what happens in the association. So we not to become a very expert swimmer, that I want to understand each and every word and words of Bhagavad Gita. I need to learn Sanskrit. That is not our approach. Our approach is we go the shelter of a bona fide guru like Srila Prabhupada and the association of devotees. And then already there's ready gems are there. Just go and get, and you'll get the essence readily available. So that is what is the benediction, especially in Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already distributed. If you're chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you have already got the essence. So there's nothing further for you to aspire, crave for. So you're already in the essence. That is why the beauty of Srila Prabhupada books is like many times actually people, sometimes people They question, they challenge that when you read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, right from the beginning to end, he keeps talking about bhakti, devotional service, surrendering to Krishna. In the verses where Krishna is not talking about bhakti, Prabhupada in the purport is writing about bhakti. So many times, some people, they question, oh, this Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada, he is too much overly, emphasizing on bhakti. In the verses, Prabhupada is talking about Karma Yoga. Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga. Prabhupada is writing as Bhakti Yoga. So he says, no, this is like you guys want to just push forth that bhakti only. Krishna is talking about karma. How do we understand? How do we answer this? See, Prabhupada is very, very intelligent, very smart. In a sense, they understand the acharya, like the doctor. They know that what dose and how to give the dose. So they are all spiritual doctors. So what Prabhupada is saying, Krishna will talk about the bhakti towards the end and surrenderance towards the end. Prabhupada is from the page number 1, talking about surrender. Because his idea is that you should not miss the essence. Every page you are seeing, oh, this is the essence. Bhakti, surrender to Krishna, devotional service, devotional service, devotional. It is hammered. And at the end, you reach to the Bhagavad Gita after Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and all that. Krishna says, essence is Bhagavad Gita. Param guhyatamam guhya shruno me paramam vacha. Krishna is saying, now here, the most confidential instruction after speaking all of that. Prabhupada is giving that most confidential instruction from the beginning only. Krishna is telling that instruction towards the end of Bhagavad Gita. And then he says, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna is saying, always think of me, become my devotee, offer your obeisances unto me. Prabhupada is telling that from the beginning. So why the acharya they do is, because they know Kali Yuga Buddhi is like that. You'll miss out the essence. You'll be lost into the details only. What is this Karma Yoga? What is this Jnana Yoga? Why this? Why that? And what is the essence? That you don't know. So the essence is given. So you already got the essence. Okay. Okay, somebody was saying, okay, somebody has put the chat here. Hare Krishna, please do explain 20 variants, parts of Jnanam. Okay, wonderful. So that will be maybe the future sessions. And in the beginning, I mentioned about 20 items of knowledge, which Krishna talks in the 13th chapter. Maybe we'll just create one series for that and try to cover all those 20 items. Prabhupada has given nice purports and then we'll talk more details. Okay. Any other question or any quick comment? Anyone?
So,
One second, hold on, those who are joining online. Somebody is asking the question here. I'll come back to you. Those who are online. Yes.
Is it a progression to Jnana Yoga, or why not place Bhakti Yoga at the very end if that's the whole?
Yeah. So yeah, that is a good question, but that is kept very safely in between. It is like that. The essence is in between. So actually, interestingly, we call it Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga and then Bhakti Yoga. But if you carefully read, even in Jnana Yoga is also actually basically helping you to progress towards Bhakti Yoga only. Why do you need that Jnana? So if you see, the Krishna is giving all this Jnana, 13 to 18 chapter. All this Jnana is basically leading you towards Krishna only. Because you know more and more about Krishna. So Krishna already explained you the Bhakti and then he explained more detail. So that you become more convinced about, okay, now this is what I had to take. What he was telling in the middle chapters, you get more confirmation, more confidence by that knowledge. So like that. So ultimately we call it Jnana Yoga though, but it is actually Bhakti Yoga only. And even the Karma Yoga is also Bhakti Yoga only. Because Krishna is gradually taking you through your karma, you should surrender to Krishna only. So Krishna is very smart. He is giving you some, sugar coating. Because sometimes people don't like to surrender. So he's just going around. Do a little karma, do a little jnana. You are very intellectual. Forgetting that I only gave you the intelligence. You're thinking I'll figure out. Okay, you want to do that exercise, do in the Jnana Yoga section. So like that. Okay. And that answers your question. Okay. Those who are asking the online, you can ask now.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada was mentioning in the purport that, when Krishna was saying about Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, he's also talking about Bhakti Yoga, you were talking, right? So, does it mean that it is Srila Prabhupada's version, or is it like as his version of Krishna? Because I can argue, or someone who is new to Bhagavad Gita can argue on that basis, right? Like if you're talking like this.
That's a good point that Prabhupada is saying Bhakti Yoga, where Krishna is saying Karma Yoga, and Prabhupada is putting his ideas of Bhakti Yoga. So it might be Prabhupada's idea, not Krishna's idea. So the point is, ultimately, when you attend some seminar or something like that, at the end they'll tell you what is the gist, what is the crux, what is the takeaway point. So if you don't go by Prabhupada's purport, but if you just go by what Krishna is saying, ultimately Krishna is saying, Sarv Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Surrender to me. And that is what Prabhupada is saying from the beginning. So it is not Prabhupada's idea that surrender to Krishna. Prabhupada has picked something from the end and presenting from the beginning. So we cannot really claim that or challenge that, oh, this is Prabhupada's idea and then he is presenting like this. It is actually Krishna's understanding, Krishna's conclusion, what Prabhupada is presenting from the beginning. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the clarity. One more question. So, if it is like after getting the essence, okay, what would be the essence? I mean, ultimately, the gist of Bhagavad Gita. I know it's a very tough question. We can't explain the entire.
It is not a tough question. It is a very easy question and very easy answer. There's no tough question. Prabhupada explained everything so crystal clear. The essence, once you understand that who are you, you're not the body, you're the soul. And then you have some relationship with the Supreme Lord, which is Krishna, who is a person, who is a loving person, who is a Bhaktavatsala. And that person is our original, supreme, real Father. And our constitutional position is to serve him. Now, question is how to serve him. Krishna is only guiding how to serve is by chanting Krishna's name. Sadatam kirtayanto mam yadantasya dradhavrata. 9.40. So Krishna is saying that always chant my holy name. And then towards the end also Krishna again saying, reiterating the same concept, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru. Always think about me. How to think? By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it is not very difficult, it is very easy. Easy to understand and easy to practice also. So one should practice daily. Okay. Hare Krishna. So let us now practice this easy thing. So repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna